Hello everyone, today I'll continue sharing with you the story of the single mother, Hoài Ca. I hope you enjoy the video. It was a Sunday noon, the sun standing high above the roof. Hoài Ca was hanging laundry in the yard when she heard a motorbike stop outside the gate. When she stepped out, Hung's mother was already there, holding a couple of big shopping bags, her face still stern but her eyes noticeably softer than usual. Ca, Tony's off school today, so I bought him a few sets of clothes and a box of snacks to enjoy, she said casually, as if visiting was something she did every day. Hoài Ca froze for a moment. She looked at the colorful bags, then at Tony, who was toddling out from inside the house. The moment he saw the new clothes, his eyes lit up and he ran out to wrap his arms around her legs. "Grandma, you brought snacks for me?" The question made her jolt in surprise, but she quickly crouched down and patted his head. "Yeah. I bought them for you." Standing beside them, Hoài Ca's heart tightened, half touched, half stunned. She never expected someone who once valued material things to the point of treating her and Tony coldly, to suddenly buy clothes and bring them over herself. But deep down, a layer of caution still lingered. She smiled softly and took the bags from the older woman's hands. "Thank you, but you don't have to spend so much, really." Hung's mother waved her hand dismissively. "It's nothing. Kids grow fast, buying a few clothes is normal. And Tony's a good boy. I'm fond of him." Her voice carried sincerity and a hint of awkwardness, like someone trying to close a distance but unsure where to begin. Tony stood between them, hugging the snack box, grinning from ear to ear. "Mom, can I eat this?" Hoài Ca laughed and ruffled his hair. "You can, but after lunch, okay?" When Tony ran inside to show off his new clothes, the space between the two women grew quiet again. The older woman watched the boy for a moment and then spoke softly. "Ca, I know I haven't been good in the past. But I really want to make it up. Just, slowly." Hoài Ca felt her heart melt a little, though caution remained. She nodded gently. "Yes. I understand. Slowly is fine." Hung's mother gave her a rare smile, the kind that looked like she had to relearn after years of being hardened. From the doorway, Hung had been quietly watching everything. A breath of relief escaped him, happy that his mother was truly changing, yet protective of Hoài Ca, understanding why she still held her guard up after everything she endured. A simple afternoon, a few sets of clothes, a box of snacks, but to Hoài Ca, it was the first sign of reconciliation, even though she knew she still needed time to feel truly safe. In the days that followed, the presence of Hung's mother in Hoài Ca's small home became more familiar. She was no longer harsh or nosy. Each visit she brought something small, fresh vegetables, a bag of shrimp, or just a few pieces of Tony's favorite fruit. As for Tony, the moment he heard her motorbike stop at the gate, he would dash out yelling "Grandma," so loudly it always startled her before making her laugh. His innocence made the atmosphere between them so much softer. But Hoài Ca, even as she smiled and welcomed the help, her heart still kept an invisible distance. She had been hurt enough to know that sudden kindness can be confusing, you don't know how much to trust. She quietly watched every gesture of Hung's mother. The hesitation when stepping inside. The awkwardness when trying to soothe Tony. And the soft sighs she let out seeing the three of them together like a family. One afternoon in the kitchen, while Hoài Ca was washing fruit and the older woman was picking vegetables beside her, the silence wasn't tense anymore, but not exactly natural either. "Ca," the older woman suddenly spoke. "Yes?" Hoài Ca looked up slightly. "I know you're still not completely at ease. You don't trust me fully," she said slowly, her voice low, "and that's, honestly, the right way to feel. It's good that you're careful." Her unexpected honesty made Hoài Ca stop what she was doing. The older woman continued, fingers gently plucking stems. "All my life, I never cared about anyone but myself. Looking back, I realize I've been wrong in so many ways. I want to change, but changing your nature isn't something you fix in a day or two. When Hoài Ca looked at her, the woman's eyes no longer held the sharp calculation they once had. Instead, there was tiredness and truth. A slow change, but a real one. Hoài Ca took a quiet breath and replied gently but still cautious. I don't want you to feel burdened by us, or that you have to force yourself. No, she shook her head immediately, I'm doing this because of Tony. He's worth changing for. And you are too. The words made Hoài Ca's heart stutter. Warmth mixed with a fear of softening too fast. Right then, Tony rushed in and hugged his grandmother's leg, holding up a toy car. Grandma, play with me. She laughed and bent down. All right, I'll play with you. Watching them sit on the rug with toy cars, emotion swelled in Hoài Ca's chest. She leaned against the doorframe, absent-mindedly squeezing the towel in her hand. Hùng entered from outside, saw her expression, and gently took her hand. You okay? He asked softly. She nodded, but her voice was honest. I'm still afraid. But I can see she's really trying. Just give me more time, okay? Hùng squeezed her hand tenderly. I'll always give you time. You never have to rush. Just feel everything in your own way. Hoài Ca exhaled deeply, releasing a bit of the anxiety inside her. From across the room, Tony's giggles mixed with his grandmother's voice, a sound she once thought she would never hear in this lifetime. The day passed slowly, peacefully. And even though Hoài Ca remained cautious, a small door in her heart had begun to open, not completely, but just enough for light to slip in. That afternoon, while the three of them were clearing the table after the meal, Hung's mother suddenly set her chopsticks down, glanced at Tony playing with his toy cars in the corner, then turned back to Hùng and Hoài Ca. Ca, and you too, Hùng, her voice was a little hesitant, this Sunday. I want to take Tony out for a bit. Just the two of us. Grandma and grandson. Both Hoài Ca and Hùng froze. Hùng reacted immediately. He straightened up, his voice tenser than usual. That's not a good idea, Mom. Tony's still little, and... Hey. Hoài Ca lightly touched his hand, cutting him off. She turned to look at his mother. The older woman's eyes weren't challenging or pushy, they held sincerity mixed with worry, like someone afraid of being rejected. I just want to spend a little time with my grandson. She continued, her voice much softer. Last time I noticed he really liked going to the park, so I thought I'd take him to the playground nearby, let him go on the swings, eat some ice cream. Nowhere far. Hung's face stayed hard. Mom. I don't trust. Again, Hoài Ca placed her hand over his, this time squeezing slightly. She spoke first. I want to try. Hùng snapped his head toward her, eyes wide. What did you say? Hoài Ca swallowed. She was very anxious, her hand felt cold, her heart was racing, but there was a strange steadiness in her gaze. I know how much Tony means to us. But, your mom really is changing, and, if we don't give her a chance, we'll never know for sure. She looked at Hung's mother, the woman sitting there with her fingers laced tightly together, clearly tense. Just one afternoon. Nearby. I think we can try once. A long silence settled over the kitchen. Hung's mother lowered her head, her voice almost shaking. If you're not comfortable, I can video call you the whole time. Or you can follow us secretly if you want. Hùng pressed his lips together, his hands clenched like he was fighting something inside. He hadn't forgotten the pain Hoài Ca had gone through because of her, but he also couldn't ignore the quiet effort his mother had been making. In the end, he let out a long breath and looked straight into Hoài Ca's eyes. Are you sure? She nodded, this time more firmly. I want to try. Tony ran out of the room just then, having caught bits and pieces, and immediately squealed. I get to go out with Grandma? Really, with Grandma? His innocent delight made Hoài Ca's heart soften a little more. Hung's mother looked from her grandson back to Hoài Ca, her eyes glistening though she tried to hide it. Thank you. Ca. Hoài Ca gave a small smile, though her hands were still slightly shaking. Please, hold his hand carefully and don't let him run off. Tony gets hyper very easily. I know. She nodded, her voice suddenly firm. I'll look after him like he's gold. Watching his mother hold Tony's hand while Hoài Ca stood beside them, trying to trust despite her fear, Hùng felt something shift inside him. The worry was still there, but he knew this was a very important step for their little family. It was just one outing. But for Hoài Ca, it was a test. For his mother, it was a chance. And for all three of them, it could be the beginning of real harmony. Sunday came faster than Hoài Ca expected. All morning she couldn't sit still, folding Tony's clothes, then packing his toys into a small backpack, checking everything so meticulously that Hùng could only sigh and murmur. Ca, when you're this worried, are you sure it's okay to let Mom take him? Hoài Ca bit her lip, trying to keep her voice steady. I know, but I still want to try. Just this once. The doorbell rang. Hung's mother arrived wearing a wide-brimmed hat, carrying a bag filled with things for a child, wet wipes, bottled water, band-aids, a light jacket, and even a small tube of kids' sunscreen. Her thoroughness caught Hoài Ca off guard. Tony, come say hi to Grandma, then we'll go out. She called gently. Tony immediately came running, hopping around, shouting. I'm ready, Grandma. Seeing that, Hoài Ca's heart gave a trembling beat, scared, loving, and hopeful, all at once. Even though she kept telling herself to trust, she still couldn't just let Tony leave without watching over him. She and Hùng quietly walked behind them, keeping far enough that they wouldn't be noticed. At the park near their house, Tony ran toward the swings, while Hung's mother stayed right behind him, never taking her eyes off him for even a second. Grandma, push me, but just a little, okay? Tony said. Alright, I know, too high and you might fall. She answered, her voice careful. Whenever Tony ran a bit too far, she immediately called out. Don't go near the pond. What if you fall in? Then, don't climb the slide by yourself, wait for Grandma. Watching all that, Hoài Ca's heart clenched again, but this time, not from fear. It was because the older woman was actually being more careful than she had expected. When they walked past the ice cream stand, Tony pointed at a chocolate cone. She bent down and asked quietly. Can you eat chocolate? Does your mom allow it? Tony nodded eagerly. Yes. I eat it all the time. She hesitated for a few seconds, then suddenly took out her phone and called Hoài Ca. Ca. Tony wants ice cream, but I wanted to check first. What flavor do you want him to have? Her voice was serious, like she was afraid even a small mistake wouldn't be acceptable. Holding the phone, Hoài Ca's hand trembled a little, her voice soft. Please let him have vanilla, Auntie. Chocolate can make him cough. Okay, I got it. The older woman replied. She hung up and turned back to Tony. Mom said you should have vanilla. Let's listen to her, alright? Tony pouted but still nodded. That scene made Hoài Ca's eyes sting. Someone who had once been cold, who had once hurt her so deeply, now was being careful enough to ask about even the tiniest detail. After the ice cream, Tony wandered over to a grassy field where some kids were playing soccer. He stood watching, excited but a little shy. Hung's mother understood that look right away. She bent down and took his hand. Do you want to play with them? I'll stand right here and watch you. I won't go anywhere. Tony looked up. Grandma, you stay close, okay? Yes, I'll stand right here. She pointed to the edge of the field. And she kept her word. She stood at the boundary of the grass, eyes glued to Tony the whole time. When he kicked the ball successfully, she clapped and cheered. When his shoelace came loose, she instantly called him back and knelt down to tie it carefully. From afar, Hoài Ca watched, her heart softening bit by bit. Standing beside her, Hùng asked quietly. How do you feel? Hoài Ca squeezed his hand, her voice small but full of emotion. I never thought she'd care about him this much. Hung answered gently. I think she's trying harder than we gave her credit for. Hoài Ca fell silent, watching Tony's carefree smile and the way his grandmother stayed close, like a small shield around him. Inside her, there was a strange feeling, not complete trust, not instant forgiveness, but the beginning of something. A beginning that felt real, calm, and worth giving another chance. Late in the afternoon, the sunlight had turned golden, and the shadows of the trees stretched long across the tiled yard. Hoài Ca stood at the doorway, heart fluttering like a mother waiting for her child's first day back from school. The moment she heard the motorbike stop outside the gate, she stepped out immediately. Hung's mother was holding Tony's hand as he got off the bike. The moment Tony saw his mother, he sprinted toward her and wrapped his arms tightly around her waist, talking so excitedly that he barely paused to breathe. Mom. I went so high on the swing. Grandma pushed me but I didn't fall. And I played soccer too, I kicked the ball twice. Grandma even bought me ice cream. Vanilla ice cream, it was so good. Hoài Ca laughed, ruffling his hair, taking in his flushed, happy little face. You had that much fun? You played a lot today, huh? Yes, so much fun. Tony nodded rapidly, his eyes sparkling like stars. Grandma played with me the whole time. She even tied my shoes for me. Hoài Ca couldn't hide the emotion rising in her chest. She looked over at Hung's mother, the woman still standing beside the bike, holding her hat, her expression a mix of tiredness and relief. She gave a small nod, as if to say, he's safe now. From inside the house, Hung stepped out. Seeing his son grinning ear to ear, he finally sighed in relief. He bent down and lifted Tony up. So my boy had a great time, huh? Yes. I want to go again. Tony wrapped his little arms around his father's neck. Hoài Ca gently straightened Tony's collar and asked softly. Who do you want to go with next time? Tony thought for exactly 2 seconds, then shouted in excitement. I want all of us to go next time. Mommy, Daddy, and Grandma. I want everyone to go together. His innocent declaration made all 3 adults freeze. Hung's mother suddenly turned her face away a little, as if to hide the redness in her eyes. She looked at Tony and said gently. If your mom and dad agree, then Grandma would like to go too. Hoài Ca looked at her, and for the first time, there was no trace of wariness. What she felt was real emotion. The woman had tried, she was exhausted, and the warm glow of the evening sun on her hair made the moment unexpectedly soft. Yes, if you'd like to, then next time we can all go together. Hoài Ca said quietly but sincerely. Hung's mother blinked, surprised and moved. Ca, thank you. Standing beside her, Hung gently placed a hand on her back. He understood that she had just taken a huge step, not for herself, but for Tony, for their little family. Tony was still hugging Hung's neck, kicking his legs in excitement. Promise, okay? Next time we all go together, okay Mommy, Daddy, Grandma? Hoài Ca laughed, Hung laughed, and Hung's mother nodded softly. That afternoon, a gentle breeze drifted through the yard, carrying Tony's laughter and the last golden rays of sunlight. Nothing grand happened. Just a small outing. Just a simple promise. But to Hoài Ca, it was a sign that all the cracks in her heart were slowly beginning to heal. Family, sometimes it restarts from an afternoon just like this. When Tony ran inside to show Hung his new toys, the yard was left with only Hoài Ca and Hung's mother standing across from each other. The evening breeze carried the lingering scent of sunshine from Tony's clothes and a hint of the park grass he had played on. Hoài Ca watched her son's tiny back for a moment before turning back, her fingers intertwined nervously. Auntie, she said softly. Hung's mother lifted her head. The sunlight streaming through the gate lit up her face, revealing both the exhaustion of babysitting and a gentleness that had been rare in the past. Hoài Ca took a quiet breath, then bowed her head sincerely. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking Tony out today. And thank you for accepting him. Hung's mother stiffened, her hand tightening around her hat. She hadn't expected Hoài Ca to be the one to speak those words first. A girl she once hurt, once doubted, once pushed away, now standing here, sincerely thanking her. Ca, her voice was hoarse, don't say that. Tony is my grandson. Of course I have to love him. Hoài Ca shook her head gently and looked up, her eyes glistening but not weak. But you didn't used to think that way, so today, I'm truly grateful. Tony, he was really happy. I could see it right away. Hung's mother's eyelashes trembled. She turned her face slightly, as if hiding her emotions. Then she let out a long, slow breath and said, I know. I've done many wrong things. I know you've been hurt because of me. But seeing that boy today, he smiled at me like I never pushed him away. He hugged me, he held my hand. I feel so much love for him now. I really want to start over. Hearing those words, something inside Hoài Ca softened completely. She looked at the woman before her, no arrogance, no harshness, no calculating gaze, just a grandmother learning to love her little grandson. I trust you. Hoài Ca said, quietly but clearly, not all at once, but I trust that you're trying for Tony. Only then did Hung's mother turn back, her eyes slightly red. Ca, thank you for giving me a chance. Hoài Ca gave a soft, genuine smile. And thank you too, for giving Tony the chance to have a grandmother. They stood there for a brief moment, but it was full of meaning. In the small yard, the day slowly fading, Tony's laughter echoed from inside the house, like proof that all their efforts, worries, hesitations, and changes were finally leading somewhere right. For the first time, Hoài Ca felt she wasn't fighting alone anymore. And Hung's mother felt that the door she once thought sealed forever had finally opened, just enough for her to step into that child's life. A simple thank you, but one that could warm the heart for a very long time.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Trời ơi, đầu tóc nó bơ phờ đúng như vừa ngủ dậy vậy. Hôm nay thì mình đang tranh thủ để có thể làm video và có thêm một số công việc ở trong gia đình nữa, nên là mình làm hơi chậm. Hy vọng rằng mọi người sẽ theo dõi và ủng hộ cho kênh của mình nhiều hơn. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều vì đã theo dõi kênh mình. Nếu như mà yêu quý kênh mình cũng như là yêu quý các nhân vật như diep, lytudiep hoặc là Hoài Ca, Hùng thì mọi người hãy đăng ký kênh và bật chuông thông báo lên mọi người nhé. Và trong thời gian tới thì kênh mình cố gắng sẽ lên thật là đều video để có thể có video để gửi cho mọi người xem. Mọi người ơi, thì kênh của mình thì sẽ lên vào 2 khung giờ chính là 7 giờ tối và 7 giờ sáng, và mình sẽ linh hoạt trong 2 khung giờ đấy và không có cố định. Nếu như mọi người yêu quý mình thì hãy đăng ký kênh và theo dõi những video mình lên nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại.